No, I didn't. We're getting breakfast. We didn't do the morning things, but we're on the way. It's like 11. I don't have a watch on, but it's like 11, I think. 11. Yeah. So we'll get there at enough time.
You remind us that marketing, you've shown Black women don't just belong in the industry, we elevate it. You are proof that showing up as yourself is enough and that excellence doesn't require permission. We started this to remind ourselves and the industry that Black women marketers are not a hidden talent. We are the foundation, we are the future, and we are already doing the work. And now we're being seen for it. So here's your reminder. Keep nominating, keep uplifting, and keep telling your own story. Because somebody is watching, and this time next year, it'll be your name that I'm calling. So thank you, and congratulations to all of our nominees and winners.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brianna Holmes. Let's talk about this journey I told you about earlier. You heard a lot of names, you heard a lot of numbers, so let's go through this. Let me tell you what happened. In 2016, I decided one day I hated my job. I literally woke up on a Monday. My mom can attest to this. She was so angry with me. I woke up on a Monday. I said, I don't like this job. I'm tired of it. I want to go do something else. I called a friend, that networking piece. I phoned a friend. I said, hey, can you help me get a job? She was like, absolutely. Come up to Atlanta tomorrow. I was like, oh, tomorrow. That's what we're doing. Okay, cool. I'm going to go. I drove up to Atlanta. It was a 3.5-hour drive from where I was at the time. I had an interview. Now we're on Wednesday. Wednesday, I'm driving home, and I get a phone call. Hey, you got the job. I was like, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen so fast. Well, Thursday, I put my little notice in at my job. I said, okay, bye, y'all. That was fun. Friday, I signed my lease, and Saturday, I moved to Atlanta. She was mad. That lady in the grid, she was very mad. But she was also my biggest supporter because I totally thought I was going to have to like sleep on an air mattress until I could make money. She took care of it. She made sure, she's like, you know what, you're going to take a chance on yourself, I'm going to take a chance on you. I was like, oh, you love me. Thanks. Well, 2 years go by, and I don't have that community that I really wanted, that I craved, because I was living in Atlanta. I'm not from Atlanta. It was something new, something exciting. So I decided to start an organization, which was previously Millennials of Atlanta. With Millennials of Atlanta, we had a goal. I wanted to have events, but what kind of events? I didn't know. I set 4 little journeys up, rather. I said I wanted to do social, service, educational, and fitness events because those are the things at the time that I cared about. And I said I wanted the people I met to care about those same things, good common values. Well, we had our first event in January of 2018. Some of my friends came. We posted on social media. It was cute. It was at the W. I thought it was like fancy girl. I was like, oh, cool. It was 100 people. I was like, I don't know what to do with this many people. I thought 10 people were going to show up. Well, I was doing great. I was doing fine. And then in 2019, I had my worst event ever. Till this day, that is literally my worst event. 5 people showed up. Granted, it was in Atlanta. Has anyone been to Atlanta? So it was in this place called Edgewood. Edgewood is a lot. And that day, if you know anything about Edgewood, it's like the OG of Atlanta. Edgewood didn't have a lot of plumbing problems, put it that way. And that one day it decided to pour rain. Like, I mean, the whole street was flooded. But I still showed up. I was like, okay, we're gonna do this. And I showed up. My friends showed up. They were so good. All my best friends were there. And 5 people came. One of them happened to end up becoming my partner. Which I was like, oh, I'm glad I showed up that day. And it was terrible. But 2020 happened. We all know what happened in 2020. And 21 started happening. And my partner, he started this really cool thing called Render ATL. I was like, oh, that's cool, that's nice. Go for you. And the first one, we got 300 people there. I was not a part of that. I did social media on the back end because I'm like, you're not posting live. Like, what are you doing? The marketer in me is like, sir, come on, post the event. And then in 2022, we had the second one. I was actually led marketing for that one. 1,000 people showed up. 2023, we rebranded it in a way because we had around 13,000 people at this point. We kept doing events, we kept doing the things, we kept setting intentions and making sure that they were not only just events, but they were rituals. People expected this to happen every month. They expected to see something happening on social and signing up and doing the things. And then the third Render ATL happened, and we had over 2,400 people there. And it kept growing. I'm keep leading marketing. The team is growing. And then last year was our last one, and we had 5,000 people show up. And that means 5,000 people. These are not free tickets. For the marketers in the room, the cost of a ticket is about $450 per person at the general admission level. So you can see that we're getting more expensive, we're doing more things, and it takes more work. But it was simply an idea that started on the couch of how do we grow this thing. And then I began building at Torque last year. Torque is owned by Ronstadt Digital. It's the largest staffing agency in the world. It's cool. It's great. But the community team was new. They didn't know what that was. They didn't know what to do community. They said, we're here to get people jobs. And we said, let's make sure they know that you care about them. So we began a journey 6 months ago, and literally last week I had to update my slides. I was like, oh yes, because we hit 1 million users on the Torque platform, which if anyone knows anything about growing a community, hitting 1 million users is like, we did it. Great, cool, but now what? What do we do? Well, we keep going. We keep growing, we keep building, and there's an error on my slide, but that's okay, because you didn't see it happen. Now, in a way, has 30,000 people. 30,000 people who are subscribed and count on me to showcase events, and they count on our team to get them excited. We actually just did the most impactful Atlantans list. And Render is expecting 7,000 people. And tomorrow, I go sit in front of 40,000 people who don't speak English. So, necesitas practicar mi español para trabajo.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the part of building a global brand. It challenges you to be different and to try new things and to learn new things. Because y'all have to speak Spanish weekly now. I'm not great at it, but I try. And my team, which is now in Portugal and Spain and Mexico and France and Europe, because I just got a message on Friday that says we're expanding in Europe next year. Great. Or this year. I said this year? Like this year? And they're like, yeah, practice your French. I don't speak French, y'all. At all. Not at all. But we're going to learn, and we're also going to embrace those same things that I'm about to tell you about while I continue to grow and build. Because like I told you, I'm still learning and growing, and I'm going to be doing this exact same thing that I'm going to talk to you guys about in the next 10 minutes. So, first is your foundation. Whenever I'm talking to people, it doesn't matter if you are new to this or you're true to this. There's 3 things that I encourage everyone to do. And this isn't something you don't already know, but we're going to break down exactly kind of how. Number 1, you're going to define your why and who it's for. Yeah, you have an idea, great. Why do you want to do it? Your why is going to become your elevator pitch, essentially. You're going to be able to say, yeah, this is what I'm doing. Or you could say, this is what I'm doing because I saw this was happening and I chose to do it for these people. You see the difference? It's a little bit of a difference. It's your anchor. It's going to severely delay you if you don't have it from the beginning. Because it's going to pull you in every direction except the right one if you don't know your why. You're going to start small. A lot of times social media convinces us that we have to do something massive immediately. You can't just have one event and have 10 people show up or you're a failure. That's what social media will tell you. But that is far from the truth. So, like I said earlier, while my worst event might have been 5 people, those 5 people make me a lot of money nowadays. Those 5 people were intentional. They sit on board. I sit on boards with them. They are still active volunteers in the organization. And some of them now have jobs that are able to become sponsors at Render. And they like to charge a lot more than my little organization does, because my little organization is fun. Theirs is like, it's a business. And And then, like I said earlier, you're gonna build rituals, not just events. Does anyone know the difference between a ritual and an event? An event can only happen once. You might have a life event. That event it's gonna only happen one time in your life. But rituals, like what we do with our skincare and our hair care. Anyone remember Sundays getting your hair done with your mom at home? Or having to lay on the counter, hold your head back to the sink and you just pray that you don't fall in? Rituals can be repeated. This isn't something that every event does not have to be the grand, spectacular thing. It needs to be something that can be easily repeated time and time again. So that way people will stay and they'll keep coming because you made them feel like they care, that you care, that they matter. And how often you make them feel. I always suggest people think of everything as well, we're gonna get there. I got too excited for y'all. Okay. So, the next thing is make it feel like home, even when it's global. You have to keep your branding and your messaging consistent. You have to celebrate your local culture and highlight your people involved in that. And you have to use content as a bridge. So, if your messaging is messy, people won't know how to connect, not only to it, but they won't know how to connect all the things that you're doing, even if they really, really want to. So, everyone in this room knows and understands, well, hopefully, if you don't know, this is what we're going to talk about, is when you're talking about your messaging and your branding as it pertains to your community, your idea, or your passion, simplify it. Simple is better, and that's okay. Because when you're talking to people in one city versus another versus a different country versus a different continent, that one sentence does not change. For example, at TRHUB, I always say we're a community-first jobs platform that helps you get your job, your next job, and the next job, and the next job. Anyone understands that. It's so easy. They all know community-first platform, get a job. That's it. And it's understandable. So, you want to make sure that anything that you do can be condensed to one sentence. Of course, you'll talk more about it because we are yappers in this room, I know. But, can it be condensed into one sentence? You're going to celebrate the people that you're working with and making sure that you're keeping the flavor. It's really easy to make sure that you just soak into whatever social media is doing or seeing what the trends are. That's nice and that's dandy and all. But, to put in perspective, Render ATL, the first year we had chicken wings falling from the ceiling. They weren't real. But we had chicken wings hanging from the ceiling. We also had dollar bills. You go to Render ATL's Instagram, I think someone just posted a photo talking about buy now, pay later with an image from 2021 of someone using fake money. Because that's Atlanta. If you've been to Atlanta. I'm not going to say too much because my mother is right here. And then the content is key. You're going to make sure that people can still feel a part of it. The biggest thing that we're seeing in the industry that I'm working in is that when people feel like they're a part of that community, not only are they more likely to make their own content for you for free, that part. They're going to make your UGC and they're going to do it for free because they feel like they're a part of that community because they want to, not because they're being asked to. And that being said, that means that's going to foster that engagement. How many of you get on social media and you see brands that you really like, but then you don't feel seen by that brand? Anybody? I know I do. And you don't want that to be the case when it comes to your idea, your brand, or your community. You want to make sure that people feel heard, because if they don't, they're not going to stay. You have to let your community co-create with you. Ask them the questions, ask them what they care about, ask them what kind of events they want, ask them how they're doing. Because a lot of the brands that we see succeeding right now are truly doing that. They're saying, let's buy, I don't know if anyone else does. I follow Elmo on Twitter, or X. I follow Elmo, and guess what Elmo asks every week? He asks, how you doing, friend? And I appreciate Elmo. And I encourage everybody to follow Elmo. I follow the whole Sesame Street. They're social media people. They're doing that. And number two, you're going to turn that feedback into fuel. So when you're asking these questions to your people, your community, ask them for that feedback and then implement that feedback. A lot of times we get the feedback and we're like, okay, thanks. I'm going to keep doing what I want to do. No. You're going to turn that into how you change and how you grow. And you're going to make participating in your event or your brand or your community or your idea easy, and it's going to be something where you have to remind yourself, community isn't built on numbers. It's built on moments. So you want to make sure that your moments are easy to create. And I can tell you so much more about that, but I have 2 minutes, so we have to keep going. This is the biggest part though, systems. As the head of global community operations, I'm in charge of all the systems that make sure that I can recreate what I do in the US, in Mexico, in Europe, in Asia, and in Africa. It's my responsibility to make sure those systems can be repeated. So, document literally everything. You will do it again. You will make it replicable. But you have to document it. Everything. It doesn't matter if you're going to change it later. Document every little piece of things that you do. Delegate and empower your leaders. So don't do it all on your own because you don't have to. Find people who you know who believe in you, who want to help. Eventually, money will come, if that's your goal. Plan in quarters, not in chaos. Like I was saying earlier, you want to make sure that you're planning everything quarter by quarter by quarter. That's it. You can easily say, I know that I want to post on social media once a week. Great, cool, that's only 12 posts. That makes it so much easier than thinking about it in a whole year, saying, oh my gosh, what's my organization gonna do? No, plan what you're gonna do for the month, what you're gonna do for the quarter, and let it help you. And remember, your calendar should reflect your capacity, not just your capabilities or your ambition. And protect your mission. As the pressure begins to grow, as you grow, the pressure to please everyone will grow too. So protect that mission with everything in your mind. That one sentence, it's something that you'll protect with everything that you have because you don't want other people to change that for you. So remember, going global doesn't happen overnight. It happens when you finally start using strategies. You guys will get a copy of this, I hope, and if not, you'll be able to with me. But before I leave, I want to ask you, what kind of community will you create and grow? So, let's make sure we keep growing and glowing together. Scan that beautiful QR code. And my last question to you is, how can I serve you? Send me a DM. Keep forgetting. Right there. I'm Miss Brianna Holmes on every platform. How can I serve you? How can I help you? I'm not sure if they're going to give you these slides, but if they do, they will. And if they don't, let me know. We'll get you them. But how can I serve you? Because like I said earlier, going global does not happen overnight, and it definitely doesn't happen alone. So I'm here to help make sure that we all keep growing and glowing together. And that's all I got for you guys.
She was not playing.
So Jazz M and I, we are a team of Jasmines. So Jazz M and I, built Black Women Marketers, and we really wanted an intentional space for you all to be able to connect with each other and do that in a way where you were able to build community, where you were really with people who were about not just empowering and inspiring you, but reminding you that you are literally the light in every single marketing room. You are likely somebody that's constantly doing a lot of work and often underpaid. And so this is our opportunity to say, we see you, we love you, and this is our moment together. All right, panelists, for what's required to win the winning formula, come on out.
Which wasn't a mistake that I made, was I put on my vision board the agency. And I had kind of this 3-year plan, but it wasn't for the agency. Again, that was just sometimes you put something on your vision board and you're like, later, white picket fence, kids, little dog. We just thinking about it. We don't want to do it now. And God was like, oh yeah? So I get in the label and it's kind of like, well, I like marketing, but I don't really like the setup here. I'm really hands-on. I want to be in the field. When corporate things change, everything changes, the job changes, and I couldn't really be creative. And I was also processing invoices for other agencies and consultants, and I was like, well, I mean,
every time you process the invoice, you be like, wait a minute, so you're making what?
I said, they living good, and I'm sitting here rotting away, the janitor telling me to leave at 9:30, and so I'm like, I'm tired. And so, me and my superiors at the time, we kind of came to the conclusion that, like, they were like, yeah, you're right, the job did change. And I was like, I gotta see if this is for me. They were kind of like, who's this little 20-something little talking about, is this for her? Because, this is people's dream job. And so, long story made very short, I ended up taking the leap and started my company in 2016, and I have not actually, clocked in somewhere since, other than my shit. But so that was a big pivot though, because I went from being like, oh, Janae from RCA, Janae from Columbia, to having to stand on my own, building this thing that no one's ever heard of, and everybody looking at me like, again, who is this young little 20-something old girl? What do you know about building an agency? And so sometimes it can be difficult to stand on something and be building something that no one else can see except for you and God. And so that was a really big pivot. And I went through a lot of learning and growing in terms of going from being, employee, young coordinator, and all of that stuff, to being the person who starts and begins each day. I'm leading people, I'm paying people, I'm landing the clients, I'm running campaigns. So big pivot. And I would say more recently is adding a management company to us, and so managing a rapper is a pivot. I've worked with artists a lot, but it's different when I'm also managing someone's career at large like that. So I would say those are my two big pivots.
Now that you all are definitely part of the people that are making the decisions and being able to decide what you want to do, what's some advice you would give to somebody that's about to leap or scared to leap? It's an eye roll for me.
There's so many things about success and failure, that you can't foresee. You just have to work on yourself and trust yourself. You have to have this level of faith. It's like it's so deep inside of you. Nothing can break you. I'm not saying don't pay attention to when it's time to pivot. I'm saying trust yourself. You have to trust that you have what it takes to see it through. Because oftentimes you want to pivot quick because, it's not working. But actually it could have worked, yes, it could work tomorrow. It could work tomorrow. You gave up on yourself too soon, and for me it's like, I believe in every single thing that I do. Even when it doesn't work, I believe that God gave me the opportunity to try. He gave me the opportunity to think about this, have this vision. And it was my responsibility while I'm here in this vessel on earth doing his work, serving him, to see it through, regardless if it works or not, because I had the opportunity to do it. So no matter what, believe in what it is that God gave you the vision to see and do. Sometimes that vision might not be for you in that moment, but at least you try. That's what I would say.
Yeah, anybody else have one? You're like, now that I make these decisions, hold up.
I would say, you're going to be scared regardless. Every time you do something new, you're going to be afraid. I think confidence is not built just by thinking about being confident. You have to do. You have to get in the field. There's so many things that you can only learn in action. Like a book can't teach you that. We can't teach you that. The internet can't teach you that. And I'm not saying don't educate yourself, but there's the things that make me great at what I do are things that I learned by trial and error. I learned by getting out there and trying. And when you fail, just fail forward and fail fast, because that's a part of the process. You have to fall in love with the fact that you are going to fall and bump your head, right? That's why they say a lot of times athletes make some of the best people in business, because that's a part of it, right? Getting up, training, the discipline, falling, losing, learning how to lose gracefully, learning how to be like, you know what? I didn't do so great at that. Let me see what I can do better the next time. And learning not to beat yourself up too long, because the next thing is coming, the next opportunity is coming. Rome was not built in a day, neither will be you as an executive, as a business owner, or your business. And so the fear that you have, I always say fear means you're passionate, you care. So don't take that as a symbol to stop and be hesitant. But you gotta push our specialists a lot earlier on, because I'm going through these cycles of employees and I'm like, I really care about these people, but sometimes you can care too much. And as the CEO of the company, it's my job to make the company run well, also to invest in the people of the company, but that gets real sticky. And so, you know, again, and I'm very kind-hearted, but I also really care about my business. So I would say a failure there was not hiring an HR specialist earlier. Boom, that's one. Okay, 2, contracts. I'm excellent at contracts myself, but again, very personable. And when you can put it, when you get to choose your projects, we're choosing projects that we believe in. We're choosing startup founders that we believe in. We're choosing very impactful things. And again, you can be a bit too empathetic when it comes to contracts, when it comes to people paying on time, people pulling out of projects. Like, let's get to it, right? And sometimes those people look like us, unfortunately, and they're not trying to be malicious, but not everybody's growing as a business owner, as an individual, all those things. And so what I did in the future, after having some bad experiences, was my contracts are ironclad. And I have an attorney that goes through the contracts, and we put in clauses in there where, like, if you do pull out, you have to pay us 20% of what we were gonna get, so that I can pay my team that worked so hard, and we can maintain our overhead and all those different things, right? So failure 2 was not having tight enough contracts. I'm so happy and blessed to be beyond that phase. But don't be like me. Please be better. And these are things that when you're starting your own thing, these are investments. This is stuff that's gonna come out of probably your side of the budget, right? And these are things you have to invest in, and it feels like, do I wanna pay $5,000 to a lawyer, or do I wanna go to Cabo? Like, I'm tired. But it's like, you know, my lawyer made me way more money than that $5,000 and that Cabo trip. Now we can go to Cabo, the whole team can go to Cabo, right? Because we didn't get snaked out of a deal. And so again, investing. And then I would say my third failure, I don't remember, so maybe it doesn't matter.
It's on, girl. It's on. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay. So then, what's a piece of advice, y'all, that you should have taken, but you ain't? Y'all like, no, I took all of that advice, and what's a piece of advice y'all took that y'all should have or should have?
Well, I would say I didn't get the advice, but when I look back, I wish someone would have given me the advice. Your finance person. If I had to think about my second hire, like the partner, right? It would really have been the finance person, the person that knows how to count. Not saying that I can't count, but the person
to balance the books,
to manage the books, go
profit
for the
margin,
all of those. Every penny as an entrepreneur, every penny counts. And if that is not your strong suit, that should be the person you look for. Who can help me manage the money, help me price, help me forecast? Like that person, man, the person that I have now, she's like, man, where were you my entire life? Like, critical in making sure that we get the money though. Like AR, man, because some of these agencies, net 160, y'all don't even.
160 is crazy. Because I'll pull out the deal. I'll pull out the deal. Don't do it. I'll pull out the deal. I'm not even hold you. I would pull out.
Net 30 is already saying,
Again.
floating. Like, I'm floating on air. Like, I'm literally floating on air. But because she is on it and she understood and understands how to work those big corporate systems. I mean, yes, we collected the money, but still, like, I don't have the time, I don't have the bandwidth, I don't have the capacity, I don't even want to. Like, I don't want to ruin relationships because I'm knocking down your door. Where's my money? Like, where's my money? Like, I don't want to have to do that. And not having to do that really was like changed the trajectory of my business. So I wish that would have been the second hire.
Amanda, Janae?
I'm gonna take it from her lens too, of like
Okay.
2 things that I feel like I wish I would have known in my career that I know now, that I've known a couple years now, but like, and the importance of it is like, one is advocacy, okay, and the other one is likability. Those 2 go hand in hand, and I feel like if you're in a role and you identify like, hey, I want to stick around for a couple years, I see myself growing here, find you someone to sponsor you that's going to advocate for your work, that's going to talk about you in the rooms that you're not in. When it's time for those promotions, it's time for those, whatever's going on and the ways that you need to grow. You have someone that has power, that's able to push you forward, because otherwise you're not going to get there. Like and especially now, I feel like back then it was a little bit easier. I'm not going to date myself, but but like it was a little easier to move up. And I feel like now it's definitely about having someone to advocate for you, so knowing your work, and knowing how good your work is, and saying your names in rooms that you're not in, and with those decision makers. And then likability. I didn't really understand growing up, like just how important that is, and just in general, but especially in the workplace when you're trying to level up. If they don't like you, even if the work is amazing, you ain't getting leveled up. It's not happening. Like, they are going to definitely want to be aligned with people who are easy to work with. Mm-hmm. And some of those people who are easier to work with and the work is not as good as maybe the work that you're doing, they get the promotion. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. Nobody want to come to work 8 hours a day and work with people they don't like, that are difficult. We try to avoid those people. That's naturally what we do. So it's like those 2 things are super important. That I would say, like to definitely identify someone to sponsor you, and be nice. And that's gonna get you far.
It really costs to be nice, though. I feel like that's a good combo.
It is not.
It costs
So many
you
times
nothing to say good morning.
I've walked into rooms or walked into meetings and people just like, nobody say nothing, and I'm like, what's wrong with everybody? Y'all good? Mm-hmm. Everybody okay? And it's like people remember that, like when they get to certain spaces and they have a little bit of weight, and it's like, oh, do you want Tasha to do? No, actually no, because Tasha got a nasty attitude. I want to work with June. I want to work with whoever else, because they are more collaborative. They're easier to work with, and those things I feel like are just basic soft skills that we should just all be thinking about all the time.
Before you go, because I think this is something that we need to be honest about. What type of nice? What type of nice do we bring into the room that doesn't get us overlooked, but allows us to still be likable? What's that nice look like? Because is it niceness? Is it kindness? What is that? Like, what is it?
It's kindness with boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
right? Respectful, polite, but don't let nobody play with you. I'm so big on that, because they will if you let them. And I think just being a person, right? Like, I do not believe in being overly, as I think people can tell when you're just trying to like kiss up or whatever the case is. But be a person. Happy birthday. How's your kids? What you doing after work? Not that I want to come hang out.
I'm not coming, but I just wanted to know. I just wanted to know.
What are your
I wanted to
hobbies
know.
like? And just be human. I think, again, we spend majority of our lives working.
Yep.
So, I don't think you have to overextend yourself, but just be pleasant. I think it's not, and be mindful of that, right? Not that, and I want to be careful what I'm saying, because I also think there's a thing about Black women needing to smile and be way more bubbly than we may feel like being on a day, or people taking us maybe being a little laid back as rude. I don't believe in that, and I think people need to get over themselves with that. But I do think being mindful of how you show up and building relationships with people is important, and it does count, and people remember that. So whatever the best thing about you is, even if you are more introverted, I think finding a way for people that just know who you really are is what matters. You don't have to perform or put on a costume, or if that's just not you, do the most, but just make sure people get to see who you are, whatever that is, whoever that is, in the work and also outside of the work to an extent.
Yeah.
I'd say work on being present, right? Like, personally, I've had the struggle of the non-smiling Black woman. I'm a Jamaican, so I have a tough face, but I'm always pleasant. I'm always happy. I might not be showing it, so it is hard. It is really hard, but I committed to myself to be present, right? And when I put a meeting on my calendar, I am present in that meeting. I'm looking at you, I'm listening to you, I'm actively asking a question, reaffirming the things that you said to me. If I showed up to this event, I'm present and I'm talking to you. Tell me about you, right? And I genuinely have 3 things that I want to know about someone, right? And I take that with me everywhere because I'm willing and ready to share those same 3 things about me. Right? I'm not going to ask you something that I wouldn't give you the same information, right? So I'm very mindful and thoughtful and present in how I show up in relationship, and that's my boundary and my level of kindness and how I want to show up in the world for and with people.
Amanda, in corporate though, when you're in a room and you're the only one too, what that look like? Oh, y'all heard that too? Y'all heard it? I'm from Baltimore, don't play with me. That's tough. 'Cause what does it look like to be kind in an office?
Yeah, it's, so thank God I'm not in that space. I haven't been in that space where I'm the only Black woman in the room in a while, thank God. Because that's not the kind of company I want to be at. That's not reflective of my values or anything like that, the outside world. Like, no, I need to get out. But in the beginning of my career in tech, I was, and that was some of the hardest years of my life. The money was great, but I was miserable because I felt like I was suffocating. I felt like I couldn't be myself. I had to code switch. I had to do all these. Had to make sure that my face I looked pleasant. I smiled, like you said, like I smiled. Unfortunately, you can really read everything on my face, so you already know how I feel. So it's like it was even harder to have to show up, but. Yeah, that just doesn't look like something that like sat with me, and I felt like, you know what, this is great, but how do I pivot? As we talked about, out of this industry to a different industry that's more representative of people that look like me. And so I left tech, got into entertainment, media, sports, fashion, all these different things. I was at Endeavor for a while, working at Michael B. Jordan's agency. And our team within Endeavor was very diverse, but outside of our team, it was none of us, nobody looked like us. And then I realized, and I was like, a lot of these companies that we aspire and we want to work at, we're like, oh, we want to work for him, we want to work for them, you don't know what's going on, in these organizations until you get into them. And I feel like you got to do the research. And try to understand. I mean, obviously, you're not going to know as much as you'd like until you're embedded in the organization. But I feel like I don't ever want to be anywhere where I cannot be just myself. I'm not even going to say my authentic self because I wouldn't have a job. I'm going to just say myself. If I can't be myself at the nice to meet you bare minimum human level, then it's not for me. I can't. Even my team now, they know me on a human level. That's important. I want to know them on a human level. I want to know what's happening because so much of what happens to you outside of your life is brought to work. People say to leave your personal home, don't bring it to work. That's so impossible. That's not. And I want to be working with people that understand that. Understand I can't do it.
I think just to go off of what you're saying, Amanda, being yourself goes such a long way. There have been big contracts that I've landed not because I was more experienced than the other agency. They've said it verbatim. That's not why. Them agencies are bigger, they got more hands, but they're like, you get it. And I see that. And you're a real person, and you understand what I'm trying to do, and I trust you. People like to work with people that they trust. So I think the goal is to, like I said before, show enough of yourself and your passion and your expertise that they can trust you. That's all people want. You don't gotta, if we become friends, great. But they want to trust that you can get the business done and do it in the best way. We're in marketing, right? So not only are you gonna get it done, but are you gonna make it look sexy, right? And they're like, okay, yeah, I think you get it. Can I talk to this person? Can we have a conversation? Can we have a back and forth creativity conversation? Do they also know the business side of this? Do they get both bottom lines? I think that's what people want to know, and that's what you should be aiming for when you show up. There's no perfect way to show up, right? It's just what is it? and that's where the self-work comes in, because you got to know what are the best things about you, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and hire for those weaknesses, by the way. But like, what are your strengths, and how do you show up and throw those out every time you walk into the room, every time you have a conversation, every time you're in a meeting, every time you get a chance to pitch. And so I think that would be the through line of like, what does it mean to be nice, or how should we be showing up?
And I'm so sorry, you never know where people are going to end up. You never know when you're going to run back into that person. This industry of marketing and advertising is so small. It's so small. I see people that I started my career with in big investment roles, and like, oh my gosh, yo, Shambo, what up? Like, and it makes all the difference in how you move forward in your industry. You treat everybody with respect and kindness, because you don't know where you're going to end up, where they're going to end up, and it doesn't matter how they treat you. I know how that sounds, but it matters how you treat them. You can't control how someone responds and treats you, but you can absolutely control how you respond and treat them, and that's what they're going to remember. They could be as douchey and as a dickbag as they want to be, but still, you know that you were respectful no matter what, and they'll remember that.
That's good. All right, last question, because y'all, they've been absolutely phenomenal up here sharing all these gems. Love this. What's required to win? As a marketer, as a Black woman in marketing, what's required to win?
A glass of wine.
Amen.
A bottle. A bottle
of Tito's.
I'll go first this time. I would say confidence. And your story. I feel like we don't I didn't really understand how my life journey, my story really played into winning in my career, winning in my life. All the things that we are ashamed of, that we feel like we have imposter syndrome when we're in certain rooms, or all of these people, and social media, oh my God, comparing yourself to these other people, and like, your story is so unique to you. No two people have the same story, and I think that is what I've used to win. I'm always telling my story. All the good, the bad, the ugly, the great, everything, because it's unique to who I am. And I feel like when I'm in interviews or when I'm talking to people, that's something that they remember, like, that sticks out because it's my unique story. So I feel like leaning into your story, understanding like how powerful your journey is as a person to your actual growth in life, I say that's what's required to win. And just knowing that like somebody's idea might be better than yours, okay, but they're not you. Like, you know what I mean? They can't do what you can do. And so I just keep rooted in that. And also I don't lean into my own understanding. I won't. I literally will drive myself crazy, like understanding that like, okay, yes, this is something, a good opportunity. Let me identify it. Let me put my best foot forward, and then I'll let God do the rest. So I think that's what's required. Don't worry about it. It's already done.
I think what's required to win, the winning formula, I definitely want to say tenacity. Yes. Required prerequisite, right? Mm-hmm. Tenacity. You got to be able to build things, tear them down, build them back up again, get through things, pick yourself back up, because there won't always be someone to pick you back up. I would say authenticity. I will die on this hill. No one can be you better than you can be you, right? And I think that every single person has something that's uniquely special to them, and that's the thing that's going to get you far. Not trying to be someone else, not trying to take yourself, that's a table, and make you a chair. Like, no, be the best table the world's ever seen, right? And, because at the end of the day, like my mantra, you are the marketing plan. It's really you. You're going to put pen to paper. You're going to get out there and make the difference and be the difference. But it's really you. And just staying vigilant, like all of that, like investing in yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, all these things, because, the most disrespected, y'all know the quote, most disrespected, it's us, right? And so we already walk in the room, Black and a woman, and you're trying to do something outside of the norm, and you're trying to take up space. So take up that space. Do not be afraid of that. That's going to be the rest of your life. It's going to be you taking up space, so get used to it. And I think that's what's required to win, is believing in yourself no matter what. And I know that sounds so cliche, right? But like, no, for real. Like, if nobody else believed in me, I'd still be sitting up here telling y'all, like, 100%, right? And it's like, it's you and you. It's not you against the world. It's not you against another woman. It's not you against another agency. It's not you against the client. It's not you against your dreams and goals. It's you and God. And so I think keeping that in mind is what's required to win.
And now wrap it up and say, bet on yourself. If you come and ask me for $10 and you ain't put $10 in, I would never give you $10. Bet on your dream, bet on your vision, bet on yourself every single day. If people don't see you pouring into you and putting everything into you, your vision, your business, your thought, your career, they will never buy into you. Even if you're moving up the ladder in corporate America, ask your company, is there a leadership program? What do I need to do to move up, to move forward? Do you cover a corporate class or whatever it is? Like, ask to invest in yourself, because when they see it, then they'll believe it.
Love it. Y'all, weren't they amazing?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank y'all so much. We're going to close out right here with this panel, and then we are going to do a fireside chat with myself and Jazz M. We were requested to do a Meet the Founders, so you all get to chat with us, and we will share all the things that we...
I also do Black Women Marketers, MKTRHUB. I am revamping my talent sports agency right now with another business partner. I'm also trying to launch a design agency. And I'm in the process of doing the Meta Creative Strategy certificate. So when I say a whole lot of things, I mean a whole lot of things.
Yes, and then we still do things like MKTRHUB. So how are you balancing all of this? Because you do a whole lot of stuff.
10 out of 10 would not recommend, but I learned to take time for myself. When I feel myself getting burnt out and I know I can't pour into all the things at once, I prioritize. So what is in the next 30, 60, 90 days? And then I will just prioritize like that. I love project management, so I just get all the tasks and I just check things off the list, because although we feel like time is infinite, you have to give yourself a timeline. So I just work based on that timeline. This year, I don't want to do anything with my design agency. I have the right to not take clients, so I prioritize. What about you?
Don't do that. Don't do that. So for me, when I say I do a lot of things, Black Women Marketers and MKTRHUB is definitely one of my passion projects. I do political consulting on the side for marketing teams. And so, and then there's a 9-to-5, right? So we do all of these things. And I think something that I'm learning right now is task prioritization and what that truly means. So when I first got started, what was important to me when I first started my agency, so backing up in this whole story, 7 years ago, I left my job on Capitol Hill where I was doing social impact marketing and helping political leaders, and decided I was going to start a business. That business closed last year. And I returned back to a 9-to-5 because what was important to me back then was hustle. Back then, my identity was rooted in hustle. So I always wanted to do. Achievement was my identity. Accolades were my identity. If you all have been following our journey for as long as we've been doing this, I think I'm at 10 years now as a marketer. And so if you've been following the journey, then you know that I was everywhere all the time at every single scene. And what most people have no idea about is that I'm actually an introvert. I just have confidence. I just look good, and I have a method to my confidence and a method to showing up. And so one of the ways that I show up is I look really good, so people will compliment me, and then when they talk to me, then I talk back to them. And as an introvert, that's the way that I network. So it will always be something. And what I learned is that was like in the season that I started the agency, I was rooted in hustle. I was rooted in trying to prove that I could do everything, that I knew how to do everything, etc. And now I feel like I'm rooted in knowing that I know what I know and I am on my specific path, my specific journey. And God has called me to a place that I need to remain in. And that is not to say that I am buried or I'm just planted. It's to say that from 10 years, I'm now able to celebrate the seeds that I've sown 10 years ago. They are finally showing their roots. And I think something that Jazz and I talk about, but we don't necessarily invite everybody into our text messages, you know, is that we are people that build behind the scenes for a long time without a lot of times sharing what we do. And so now is the first time I think MKTRHUB today and yesterday and Thursday, we did that. I think this is the first time that we're really actually like sitting still and being like, yo,
Yeah,
we did this.
We did that. We did that.
We did that. Like, we did that. And I hope you all experienced it in a way that you felt that you were loved on, seen. Everything was incredibly intentionally done for each of you to be in this room and feel everything that we've done over the years. But I think for me now, I'm just like, we did it.
Yeah.
And y'all, like, I don't think people get it. Because I think when you see this and you see us at Amazon, you say like, oh my God, they had like this big budget.
Yeah.
They had this like big thing, or they like fundraise, or like whatever the case may be. You think all of these things, and
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground, brick by brick,
Yes.
we built this bad boy.
Yes.
And how did we have to do MKTRHUB?
I don't know.
Oh, so we decided we needed more capacity on our team.
Yes.
And we told everybody in Black Women Marketers, like, hey, we're going to open up these committees for everybody to be able to help out, support if you want to join a committee, you want to build up your resume, etc. We pour into people just as much as they pour into us. And one of our volunteers was like, y'all need to do a conference.
Yes.
And we were like,
I said no.
we said no.
I said no.
We definitely said no.
With
We were
what
like,
capacity?
We were like, in what capacity? First, we're talking about 9 to 5s, we're talking
Yes.
about jobs, we're talking about side
I got kids, y'all. I ain't got time.
Let's not even get into it, right? So I was like, what are you talking about? And they were dead serious. Like, it was like for once, Jazz and I were literally looking at each other like, we're not the boss. Like, they are literally bossing us, and they're dead serious. They're like, y'all need to have a conference. And we're like, who is having a conference? Oh, first of all, what budget?
Yeah, what budget?
What points? Who is providing? And so literally we decided after being bullied that we would do MKTRHUB. So MKTRHUB was on my vision board.
Yes.
Though.
It wasn't called MKTRHUB.
It wasn't called. It was called like MX 2020 or something like that. But that is the point of like how long it was on. MKTRHUB was on the vision board in 2020. That was the first time that I can remember the date. Well, maybe it was before then because the date on it was MX 2020.
Yeah.
So it's possible that vision was 2019. And now
we're here. Shout out to our volunteers.
No, shout out to our team. Shout out to our team.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times people have this moment where they think that like the founders or the people are, I don't know, I feel like they think that we're like these like special humans. Like we're not just like humans. Like we're not just, I'm just a girl.
I'm just a girl. I'm always in a group chat like, hey, what y'all think about this? Can y'all do this?
Can y'all do this? Anybody help? And so I say that to say that a lot of times we're in these rooms and you look to these people and you look up to them and you're like, they do these amazing things, but so do you. Every single day you're sitting on something amazing that you also can do, that you also can push out. And if nothing more, Jazz and I should be proof of God's theory. If you write the vision, make it plain, and do the work, it actually works. Like, it works. We couldn't have paid money to that. Like, you couldn't have told us if we weren't bullied that we would actually do this. I want to say we got the concept, the bullying started in August.
No, I think it actually started like, it was Achievement Awards, so it was October, November.
And then we are here with the conference in April at Amazon. We did that. We did that. We did that.
Y'all did that.
Yeah, no, yeah, because y'all did that.
Y'all did that. Y'all showing up. Y'all did
But I say that to say, Jazz, we never get to get behind the mic. We never get up here. We never share pieces of our story. We never share the encouragement. We never share the group chat. We never share the group chat. We never share the group chat. Let me tell you something. If our group chat get leaked, just remember that we was up here and y'all thought we were really cool. Okay?
Yes.
Y'all thought we were really cool. Y'all said like they cool people.
Yes.
Just
remember that. Hold on to that moment.
Rock with us because we definitely are crazy. But Jazz, for you, what made you want to get into Black women marketers, and what made you want to say yes to Marketer Hub?
I still wanted to say no. Let's just put that on record. But I think for me, and I feel like I've told you this before, I've always trusted your vision. I think.
Girl, wait a minute, my makeup good.
I think if y'all don't know, I started with her as her social media manager for her agency. So and then somewhere along the way, we said we locked in for life, became business partners, and started Black Women Marketers. And so when we originally started Black Women Marketers, I was just a social media manager. So she was just saying, hey, I want to do this thing, post on this social media channel. I was like, okay, cool, girl, here are 30 captions. That's when I was crazy. I was giving out 30 captions for it. Don't do that. 15 a month. But she was talking about Black Women Marketers, and then I was doing the social, and I was like, oh, hey, what if we do this? Oh, you probably need another platform for your community. You should look at this or this. And then I think it was either through email or text that you were like, hey, you're actually building this thing with me. Do you want to be co-founder? And I was like, well, I guess, girl, like, I don't know, but what do I gotta do? Do I have to be in front of people? And the answer was yes, but I think since we actually became co-founders and we do our yearly meetings of like what we want to do, when we put something on the board, it comes true. So I think since then, I just finally been able to just trust our instincts. So it was like, after we got bullied, then we're gonna do this thing. It was already on the board, so I was like, well, it's there, so it's gonna happen. It's just happening sooner than we thought. So I think because I trusted our vision.
So when Jazz says that Jazz is really the definition of a whole lot of jazz, but also brick by brick from the ground up. So when Jazz is first introduced to our team, I hope you don't mind me sharing, child, but y'all in the group chat now. So when Jazz joined our team, she came in and she was like, yeah, I'll be your intern. And she was so good. And I was like, oh my God, she's the yin to my yang. And I was like, but she doesn't believe in herself yet. Oh my God, don't do this. But I was like, she doesn't believe in herself yet. And I was like, what can I do? And if you've ever worked with me, you know that I'm very big on nurturing people, nurturing relationships, nurturing people. I'm going to push you to be your best self, and I'm going to do it so lovingly. It's never going to be like, oh, like, you suck. Like, I don't say things like that. That's not me. I'm sorry. That might be somebody else, but that's just not me. That's not how I operate in nurturing people. And so when Jazz came, she started as, Miyogo's intern. And then, like, maybe a month later, I was like, girl, you could just take over our social. And this was at a time where I was struggling because we were having the same challenge that the panel talked about. Hiring is really a challenge. It is something that we all have to endure. And, anywho. And so she started as a social media manager. And then I had a season of burnout. And this is a part of the story that Jazz never shares. And so I had a season, Jazz M never shares. I had this burnout phase where I was truly tired of building a business and hustling for as long as I had hustled. I'm from Baltimore. That's what we do. We just get to work, make it happen, make money. We keep building. That's in our DNA, and I love that about my city. But that burnt me out. And so for about a year, Jazz ran my agency by herself. And so I would be like popping in and out with concepts like maybe here, like this is this. But Jazz ran the agency by herself. And so at that time, one, I got to see you in action. And then two, I realized that I had such a respect for somebody that would carry my vision and what was considered my business the same way that I would. Or like she put the same energy and effort into it that I would hope anyone would be able to do. But if we're just honest, right, it's hard for people to get on board with your vision. And so, yeah, Jazz started that way. And then one day I literally came to her and was like, girl, I know that you don't trust yourself. I know that you don't know that you're as amazing as you are. I want you to be co-founder because you won't know that you're amazing until you put the letters next to your name. So I want you to be co-founder. And y'all, then we were in this joint together and birthed MKTRHUB.
Yes.
And so I say that to say that today you get your flowers.
Thank you.
You are her. Yeah, you're her.
She's trying to make me cry, but it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. I'm a thug.
You're the yeah, right. So now that we've done this, how do you feel?
I don't know. I'm a Taurus, so we don't really wear our emotions on the sleeve.
And I'm a Pisces, so it matches perfectly.
But I feel overjoyed and I feel in awe of just seeing y'all here. So again, thank y'all so much for showing up because we have this vision, but to see that you guys actually buy into it and you need it and you appreciate it. If it never happened again, this would be enough for me. So that's how this.
Girl,
I
feel that because I'm so proud. I think, sometimes I don't know if I know like a week before MKTRHUB, a few of our panelists are our colleagues. So we built this thing really intentionally. So people that have helped us along the journey were serving on the panels to share knowledge that they've poured into us back into you all. And so a couple of days ago, our panelist, Marcus Cook, I don't know if you got to check his session, the one on community and collaboration. Cook texts me and he's like, yeah, just make sure that y'all are really taking in this moment and breathing it in. He's like, don't worry about the numbers, don't worry about nothing else, just enjoy the moment. And we were like, I sent it to Jazz and was like, I don't know what he's talking about, child. He's talking about enjoy some moment. We busy. We tired. Is your flight on time? And it was that for me that we really stopped for a second. And as I take this in, looking at you all in the room, looking at everybody rushing to breakout sessions yesterday, I really stopped for a second and was like, brick by brick, this is something that has been 5 years in the making of nurturing Black women, making sure that we showed up for y'all, consistently providing resources and things for y'all. I would want to do another one, but I'm with you. I am so content with what we produce, and I'm very proud of us, but I'm also very proud of y'all for showing up and just investing in yourselves and allowing us to pour into you. For all that you do, I can only guesstimate what y'all are feeling, and everybody has shared such positive words with us. If you have negative ones, please email those to Jazz. Thank you. She'll be taking all the negativity stuff. I'll be over here as positivity Patty.
Please.
In full bliss. But I say that to say thank you all so much for saying yes to us.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah. You have any thoughts before we go into Q&A?
No, I think I appreciate y'all and thank you for showing up, and I hope y'all show up next year.
Yes. I think for me, I would just again remind you that girl.
Damn, you that girl.
You that girl. Like you heard. You can trust yourself.
Of course, I finally do.
Yeah, you can trust yourself. You the shit. All right. So we are gonna move into live Q&A because and tell us your name, what you do, and your favorite part of MKTRHUB. Stand up, girl. We need to see the fit. Okay, thank you. First, spin around too. Yes, okay.
First of all, you all look beautiful, and thank you so much for having this conference. I've really gleaned a lot from it. My name is Cameron Billette. I am not necessarily a marketer. I am a communications officer at World Bank, but I collaborate with communications teams, marketing, stuff like that. And my favorite part of MKTRHUB is really just the panelists. Like everybody has had just a wealth of knowledge to pull from. But my question for you guys is, you guys talked about your journey, how you guys came together, and you guys really talked about alignment. When it comes to building your team or just building your network of a future or potential team, how do you all go about not only communicating your vision, but communicating your vision in a way that somebody wants to align with you? I think it's very hard to get somebody on board with your idea and your project, but how do you guys go about getting other people who you want to join you kind of see themselves in the mission that you are set out to do?
So I think a really important thing to know is you have to know yourself. You have to know how you work. I think a lot of people want to be CEOs, COOs, or want to be called the boss, but they don't even know how they track their tasks. So how can you ask somebody like, hey, come and help me, and you don't even know how you actually run your business? We are two different people how we do things. We have an amazing project management system that we onboard all of our employees or staff into, but at the same time, we still have something outside of that that keeps our brain in check. So I think a lot of times when you're talking to your teammates or you're talking to someone who you want to hire, you need to know how their brain works. I am very type A, so my hands have to be in everything. Jess is very type B. She will drop a task in Slack, and that is all. Girl, where's the due date? Where's the assignee? Please help me. Help me help you.
When you get it done, when you get it done.
And I get it done. Type A, I get it done.
Get it done.
But then we also have interns. I think a perfect example is our. She used to be our intern. Her name's Tyron. She did all the music.
All the music that y'all heard Tyron put together, all our playlists. So she be holding us down.
Shout out to her. But when she came in, she's very type A like me, but she's very, very timid. So we were like, all right, Tyron, we need you to step it up. Like we can see the potential there. And we were like, what do you want to do? What do you want to learn? And then we gave her something that was within her comfort level and coached her up from there. You have to be willing to coach people. If you expect someone to come in on day one to know what you know on day 562, then you are wrong. So just know yourself and then understand your people will be mine.
And I would also, that's really good. I would also say, I shared this on my panel session yesterday, but learning how to talk to people in a way that they have stake in it too. So when we hire people, we have a couple of things that we ask. One of the first things I ask, do you remember what I asked?
Girl, that was
Okay, all right. So, I always say, what's 10 things you do? Like, what are 10 things you do outside of being a marketer or whatever this opportunity is going to be? So, like, let's say you're in communications or you're in, I don't know, creativity or you're a designer. I always say, what are 10 things you do, like you are outside of that? And what you tend to find, especially as Black women, we don't have identity outside of that. I rebuke it in the name of Jesus because now we do. But finding your identity outside of that has been very challenging. I've learned now from asking that question, the people that have more identity than just the job are the people that we can hire. If we ask that question in an interview and they kind of stumble, they don't really know, what I've found is that those people tend to be the people, if it's only about work, if it's only about money, you will only be here for a season, and I don't know if we can tolerate having capacity for a season and then finding you ready to leave because the next hottest thing, the next big thing, or whatever that is here. When you do social impact work, which is Black women marketers, or at the time, all of the agencies that Jez and I were working with and our clients, it's work that takes time. And you don't solve homelessness today. Yeah. You don't solve the mental health crisis today. And so we need people that are longevity, right? Like people that have the tenacity and the resiliency. And so I shared that yesterday, saying that we need people that can build stake in things too. And so one thing that I do, I ask that question, that's one way. And another thing that I do, I will share with people, what is it that you want to do? And then we build a map for them to get to where they want to be through our org. If we are doing our part, like our volunteers, they will tell you, literally, we got the conference going on, but Tyron has in our inbox right now a recommendation request because she knows everything we promised her that we would do for what she has given to us. And so we hold our word really true. That is something that we are really serious about. We don't bring people in if we just need extra hands. If we need extra hands, that is on Jazz and I to figure that out. But if we are ready to invest in people, then we go ahead and build out the team and build out the journey.
Look at Aria. Look at her outfit. You good, girl. Girl, get one. I love my little digi. Oh, for how much? Well, my nigga paid. I love a supporting man. So you bought a MacBook. Yeah. Investment. Listen, I'm a oh, you cooking? You good? No. I'm just recording the vibes. We just crushed, had great mimosas.
Took our most highlighted man.
Yes, let me see. Sponsor. And guess who here? I got to see my girl. And we're like almost done with the day. I'm about to head back to Philly.
Or can you take a picture of us?
I love a good selfie so I can see. I'm about to go like this because I'm used to having my glasses on.
Move that out of the way. It was just the top of it. Come in close like you love each other. These are so cute.
My girl!
Okay, you're gonna love all of those.
Thank you.
Yes.
Let me see. Yeah.
Super cute.
Yeah. Oh.
It's so cutesy.
Not for real.
I'm gonna go to the
Damn,
bathroom.
how many years?
And then we gotta say real goodbyes.
Since college, since freshman year.
Pre-college, yeah.
Don't you
Lit. I'm so tired. I have to edit so much. I have to edit. I'm like, why is this man walking like this? Like that's why I didn't even flip the camera because I'm not about to do that. Because y'all just as bad as me.
I forgot I'm with my content friend who always get content.
Hold on, let me back up.
Is it dark over here?
No, I don't think so. I think it's cute. I'm gonna show you first. So you can see. I know you be like in the whole fit, the shoes. I already saw the vision before I did it. Like, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me.
It's crazy how you just are so naturally like.
I was like, boom. Yeah, I want some more though. Okay. But I know how you like your pictures. People always like their pictures a certain way. It's giving rich. It's giving rich. I'm wealthy. It's giving wealthy. Pay and black. Yeah. I love it. It's giving rich.
So funny.
Rich and pay. You're welcome. I love a good impromptu shoot.